Have you ever woken up in the morning and instead of feeling a sense of beginning, you felt yourself being pulled adrift? Not by work, not by anything grand, but by the smallest things. A notification, an email, a message that makes you feel like you're already falling behind your own self. Morning, which should be the time you control everything, is actually when you're most easily controlled. In a world of constant noise, the winner isn't the strongest, it's the one who is most awake. Not everyone who wakes up early controls their life, but those who control their mornings are often the ones who don't let life carry them unconsciously. And that's why the Stoics begin each day not with noise, but with internal discipline done in silence, with restraint and self-command. This video is a map to help you reclaim your mornings. You don't need to change the whole world. You just need to change how you wake up, and your mind will grow sharper, little by little, day by day. Let's begin with the first lesson. 1. The only thing you can control is your reaction. Not every morning begins peacefully. There are days you wake up already feeling like the world is against you. A message unread, but already weighing heavy on your chest. A missed email, a cold remark, an unexpected problem, and in seconds, your entire mood is hijacked by things beyond your control. You wonder why you're so easily swept away, why even the smallest disruption can throw your mind into chaos. But if you pause long enough to look deeply into the matter, you'll realize it's not the events that cause suffering, it's how you respond to them. Stoicism doesn't teach you to run from the world, nor does it demand a fake hardness in the face of chaos. It simply points out one truth, both simple and profound. You cannot control others, you cannot control the circumstances, but you can always decide how you will respond. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." And within that power, you find freedom. Not the freedom of doing whatever you want, but the freedom of being undisturbed by what isn't worth your peace. Your reaction is the one thing no one can take from you unless you give it away. Every time you explode over a word, suffer because of a cold tone, or collapse after an unexpected setback, you're handing the keys to your inner life over to someone else. You become a victim of outside forces, even though you always had the power to say no. And if you observe carefully, you'll see. The truly strong person isn't the one who controls others, but the one who refuses to be controlled by them. In the chaos of life, stability doesn't come from having everything around you in order. It comes from being strong enough not to be shaken by disorder. That's why the Stoics train their reactions every morning, not because trouble might come today, but because sooner or later it will, and when it does, the prepared won't be surprised. Just as a sailor learns to steady the wheel in a storm, you learn to steady your mind in every upheaval. Practicing calm responses is a strategic move. It's not resignation, and it's not apathy. It's a conscious choice. The choice not to let small things control the greater version of who you are. When you remain clear-headed in chaos, you become different. You stop living as a victim of circumstances, and instead become the one who leads yourself regardless of whether the skies are calm or full of thunder. And when every morning begins with that mindset, You don't need to control the world, you only need to master one thing: your own reaction. 2. Begin each day as if you'll die tonight. And when you start the day by guarding your reaction against every disturbance, it doesn't just help you face reality, it reveals a deeper truth. Life is too fragile to live as if time is unlimited. Imagine, right as you open your eyes in the morning, someone quietly says to you, "This might be your last day." Not to scare you, not to make you live in fear, but to help you see yourself honestly, with no pretense, no performance. That clarity makes every petty concern fade, every minor irritation fall away. Starting the day as if you might die tonight is the fastest way to touch the core of who you are, the part of you that no longer delays what truly matters. We always think we have more time. One more day to apologize, one more week to start, one more year to live with integrity. But Stoicism grants you no such luxury. It pulls you into the present harshly but clearly and asks, if this were your last day, how would you live it? Not to make you rush, but to make you resolute. Not to fear death, but to stop postponing life. Seneca once wrote, "Let us prepare our minds as if we'd come to the very end of life. Let us postpone nothing." Because postponement doesn't just kill dreams, it slowly corrodes your dignity. Every time you choose laziness over action, compromise over truth, silence over speaking up, you forfeit the chance to live as someone of meaning. And if you knew there was no tomorrow, would you still live that way today? Waking up with that mindset doesn't make you pessimistic, on the contrary. It makes you more alive. You begin to cherish what once felt invisible. Sunlight on your hand, the voice of a loved one in the kitchen, an embrace you haven't returned yet. You speak less, but more truthfully. Do less, but more deeply. And you'll realize, living as if you're dying isn't reckless. It's real. Because only when death feels close do we begin to live with nothing left to regret. 3. Don't wish for life to be easy. And once you're brave enough to live as if this is your last day, you stop wasting energy complaining about discomfort. You stop asking, "Why me?" and start asking, "Am I becoming stronger because of this?" Because only when you stop fearing the lack of time do you finally confront what really needs to change your relationship with difficulty. We often wish for an easy life, a smooth day, a quiet month, a lossless year. It's a very human reflex, but also the trap that keeps many living in weakness without even knowing. The more convenient life becomes, the more fragile we grow. The more we're shielded from challenge, the more we panic at the first sign of struggle. And then we call it unfair fate, when the real injustice is this: we never train to endure anything at all. The Stoics never prayed for favorable conditions. They prayed for the strength to endure adversity. They understood that a person's value doesn't come from what's been handed to him, but from how much he can bear without losing his dignity. The easier life is, the fewer chances you have to grow. The more pampered by comfort, the further you drift from the toughness needed to survive in the real world. It's not hardship that hurts you, it's an unready mind. When you change the question from "why is this happening" to "what can I learn from this," You turn adversity into a tool for inner development. Just as steel hardens only in fire, character grows through repeated trial. Those who always wish for ease may never truly know who they are until ease is no longer an option. Each morning, don't pray for ease, pray for the strength to endure whatever comes. Don't hope for a gentle world, train yourself to be the one who doesn't yield to a harsh one. Because meaning doesn't come from life getting lighter, it comes from you getting heavier. Not to crush others, but so you aren't crushed by small things. When you stop wishing for life to be easy, you step onto a path only the truly strong dare to walk. The path of unnegotiable growth. 4. Silence is the beginning of strength. And when you no longer wish for life to be easy, you begin to observe what truly makes people strong. Not loud words, not heightened emotions, and certainly not noisy reactions in crowds, but something simple, quiet, and full of weight. Silence. Because in a world constantly shouting for attention, the one who chooses silence is often the one who sees the whole game. The moment you open your eyes in the morning, what pulls you away from yourself isn't responsibility. It's noise. The noise of messages, of headlines, of other people's lives barging into your head before you've even listened to your own. You touch your phone before you touch your thoughts. You react to the world before you've even observed your own emotions. And slowly, you drift away from your center, not because you're weak, but because you've had no stillness to return to. Silence is the first thing a Stoic chooses every morning. Not because they fear interaction, but because they know before mastering others, you must master yourself. And self-mastery doesn't begin with words. It begins with sitting down, doing nothing, just watching how your mind operates. When you spend the first 3 minutes of your day breathing slowly, listening inwardly without rushing to react, you create a space where the world cannot touch you. No one can knock you off course in that moment because you are present not to judge, not to run, but to stay still. Epictetus once said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." And silence is the birthplace of that mastery. Not escape, but return, not to make you idle all day, but to help you act with direction from a mind that's already clear. In silence, you can see what's true, what's false, what emotion needs to be released, what value needs to stay. You no longer need to fake positivity because you're ready to face your shadows head on. When you build the habit of staying silent each morning, it's not to escape the world. It's to avoid being swept away by it from the very first step. You emerge from that silence not with haste, but with rare steadiness, like someone who already knows who he is and refuses to let any noise decide that for him. Silence isn't the end, it's the beginning. Every lasting strength begins in a stillness that doesn't need to be seen. 5. Write down your thoughts. Don't keep them in your head. And once your mind is quiet, not yet invaded by the world, before it has the chance to form its own voice, the next step isn't action, but dialogue. Not with others, but with yourself. Because a silent mind is only truly strong when guided by self-understanding, not self-pressure. And to understand yourself, thinking alone isn't enough. You must write. Thoughts in your head tend to drift like smoke. They arrive suddenly, slip between worries, then disappear without a trace. If you don't write them down, you'll never truly know what you're thinking. You'll only know that you feel tired. We don't break down because our problems are too big, but because our minds are unclear, and clarity doesn't arrive on its own. It only appears when you dare to put pen to paper and look at yourself honestly, without dodging, without defending, without pretending to be fine. Writing isn't about crafting an ideal version of yourself. It's about meeting the real one. What fear still lingers? What questions keep circling? What memories remain unforgiven? And what dreams you've buried because you believed you weren't worthy? When you write, logic is not required, nor are conclusions. You only need honesty, because sometimes a single line is enough to break you out of an emotional loop that ordinary thinking can't escape. Marcus Aurelius didn't keep a journal for others to read. He wrote to keep himself aligned with the principles he chose to live by. Every morning he sat down not as an emperor, but as a man trying to live rightly. So can you. You don't need a title to begin writing. Just a blank page, a clear question, and the courage not to avoid what you've been running from. Writing is how you pull the clouds in your head down to earth to see them more clearly, more concretely, and to overcome them more realistically. When you write your thoughts, you're reshaping your reality. And when reality is no longer a chaotic swirl of emotions, you begin to master it. No fancy words or perfect grammar required. Just truth. Because the more you write, the more you realize. You're not as weak as you thought. You just never gave yourself a fair chance to listen kindly to your own mind. 6. Prepare your mind for the worst. And when you've had the courage to write down what's truly happening in your mind, with no denial, no sugarcoating, you begin to see the nameless anxieties that silently dominate your entire day. They don't vanish, but they become visible. And once something has form, it can be faced. But to be truly free from fear, acknowledgement isn't enough. You must prepare. Not for the best, but for the worst. It may sound grim, but it is the foundation of a steady mind. Don't wish for a day without problems. Don't hope everyone treats you kindly. Don't tie your peace to a schedule that won't be disrupted. Because disruption is the only certainty life will offer. People will break promises. Tasks will be delayed. Someone will lose their temper. And life, it won't ask your permission before flipping every plan you carefully drew up the night before. But there's one thing life cannot touch: the mindset you carry into each morning. The Stoics called this premeditatio malorum, preparing for the worst. Not to live in dread, but to avoid being blindsided. When you take just a few minutes each morning to ask yourself, if everything goes wrong today, what will I still hold on to? You're planting a post in the storm, and when the storm comes, you won't panic, you won't collapse. You'll face it as something anticipated and act like someone who doesn't need to scream to feel secure. Those who don't prepare their mindset live in illusion and disappointment. But those who've trained themselves to expect setbacks live more lightly because they no longer demand life to be perfect in order to be calm. They understand that calm is a skill, not a privilege. It's the result of training your mind each morning, not a gift from the universe. Each time you prepare for the worst, you loosen your dependency on external circumstances and move one step closer to inner freedom. That preparation doesn't make you pessimistic, it makes you resilient. Because you don't just live to enjoy the good you live, to stay grounded even when all good things leave without warning. And that is how you begin each day, not with illusion, but with true readiness. 7. Focus on action, not outcome. Once you've prepared for the worst, not from pessimism, but from the calm of someone who holds no illusions, you'll realize something deeper. Life cannot be controlled, but you can. Not controlled through force, but through choice, every action, every gesture, every small response. And that's when you must remember what most forget. The outcome is never in your hands, only your actions are. We grow up in a world that measures everything by results. Grades, awards, praise, achievements. And nothing burns out your will faster than pouring all your energy into chasing a result that was never yours to control. You do well, but go unnoticed. You try hard, but get misunderstood. You stay persistent, but still fail. And then you ask, does trying even matter? The Stoics answer, yes. But the meaning doesn't lie in the result. It lies in acting from your own values, not from the reward or punishment of others. Epictetus lived his whole life as a slave, no possessions, no power, no stage to prove himself. Yet every day he chose to act with reason, compassion, and courage. Not because someone expected it, but because it was right, regardless of what life returned to him. And that's the same choice you can make each morning. Don't wait for perfection. Don't stake your spirit on success or failure. Just ask, what can I do today that I won't regret when I look back? When you shift your focus away from results and onto the quality of your actions, you reclaim emotional sovereignty. You're no longer reactive when praised, nor crushed when rejected. You remain grounded not because things are easy, but because you live by your own standards. That's where true freedom begins. Not pulled by expectations, not shaken by wins or losses, not needing to prove, just continuing to act from the place you've chosen. And each act, no matter how small, compounds into self-respect, a quiet kind of power that nothing outside you can give, and nothing outside can take away. 8. Choose your response instead of reacting. When you've learned to focus on action, not outcomes, you begin to understand something more subtle. Not all action is a sign of control. Many actions in life are just reflexes, impulsive flare-ups of emotion, unfiltered by reason. And that's why the next lesson isn't about what you do, but about how you choose to respond to a situation. Response, not reaction, is the sign of a trained mind. How many times have you fired back in anger at a sharp remark only to regret it? How often has someone triggered you with just a raised brow, a mocking smile, a calculated look? We think we're in control, but often we're just puppets tugged by fleeting emotions. One misplaced word, one dominating tone, and we snap back instantly as if reacting is mandatory, as if we have no choice. But you always have a choice. There is always a brief space between trigger and response. a space where you can pause, look within, and ask, is what I'm about to say or do coming from my values or from my wounds? That moment may only last 3 seconds, but those 3 seconds are the line between a response that elevates you and a reaction you'll regret. Epictetus once wrote, "Any person capable of angering you becomes your master." The one who can make you angry has already taken control of you. And when you react without choosing, you've handed them the keys to your inner world with just a glance, a word, an unsolicited opinion. You become a victim not because you were insulted, but because you allowed yourself to be ruled. So let those 3 seconds become your ritual of self-mastery. Count slowly. Breathe deeply. Observe. And then choose a response that rises from depth, not a reflex rooted in old wounds. You will no longer live just to react, but as someone who holds their ground amid the invisible collisions of life. True strength doesn't come from reacting fast, but from responding wisely. And sometimes, silence is the wisest response. Not because you're weak, but because you've chosen not to be controlled. In that choice, you are no longer the victim of the world, you become the master of yourself. 9. No one owes you anything. Once you've learned to choose your response instead of getting caught in automatic reactions, you begin to discover a deeper level of inner freedom. The end of expecting others to understand you, to love you, or to reciprocate in the way you wish. True self-mastery is not just about controlling your behavior, it's about mastering the hidden desires that make you most vulnerable. And at that depth, one truth slowly emerges: no one owes you anything. This is one of the hardest truths to swallow, because the human mind, no matter how strong, still carries a deep need to be seen, to be loved, to be treated fairly. You give, and you want something in return. You endure in silence, and you hope they'll understand. You're kind, and you expect respect. But life doesn't operate according to the rules of expectation. It has no obligation to reflect what you've given. And the more you cling to that belief, the more you hand over your emotional state to others. The Stoic is not cold-hearted, but he never lets expectation rob him of his dignity, because he understands. Expectation is the shortest road to disappointment. Not because the world is cruel, but because it is neutral. It runs according to the nature of each person, each situation, each limit of individual perception. And no one is born to live according to your emotional logic. They may listen or not. They may love or leave. They may be kind or indifferent, but none of that defines you, unless you allow it to. When you stop waiting for fairness from the outside, you begin to build justice from within. You stop demanding others to make you happy and begin to take full responsibility for your inner world. When others fail to see your worth, you don't react, not because you're unhurt, but because you know. True value doesn't need validation from the blind. And that's when you reach a special kind of power, not from being liked, but from no longer needing it to feel whole. When no one owes you anything, you stop begging for recognition. You give because you choose to. You walk away because you decide to, and you live because you know you don't need to be understood in order to be yourself. 10. Comparison is the silent killer of focus. And when you no longer demand others to compensate for your emotions, when you let go of the need to be rightly understood or treated, you step into a space of quiet where independence becomes the foundation of freedom. But right there, another enemy quietly emerges. Not loud like judgment, not obvious like criticism, but subtle, creeping in, disguised as motivation. That enemy is comparison, the silent killer of focus. Comparison never knocks before entering your mind. It slips in through early morning scrolls, through images of someone succeeding faster than you, living better than you, being loved more than you. You see them and suddenly you lose yourself. Everything that once made you feel fulfilled now seems small. The goals you were chasing feel blurry. Not because they're wrong, but because your mind has wandered off to a path that isn't yours. Comparison steals more than just joy. It steals direction. It makes you question your own progress, makes you unsure whether you're even on the right path. But the truth is, every journey has its own rhythm. And feeling slow doesn't mean you're failing. Sometimes the quietest, most unnoticed individuals are the ones diving the deepest. But if you keep looking sideways, you'll stumble right where you should have been walking strongest. Marcus Aurelius once reminded himself, "Do not waste what remains of your life in speculating about others, unless with a view to some mutual benefit." In a world this chaotic, maintaining focus is not easy, but it's the most valuable thing you can do. Focus is what shapes you. It's what keeps the process alive, even when results don't show immediately. And when you protect your focus, you don't need to win like others. You only need to walk your own path fully. Each morning before the world rushes in, remind yourself, I don't need to know where they are, I just need to know where I'm going. It's a quiet affirmation, but a powerful one. Because the one who protects their focus is the one who doesn't let others define the meaning of their life. 11. Discipline is freedom. When you return to your own path, another question echoes in the silence. How do you maintain that focus day after day? How do you stay grounded when emotions waver, when life changes direction without warning? The answer isn't found in fleeting inspiration, but in the discipline you forge for yourself. Because discipline, though rigid, is the deepest form of freedom. Freedom is not doing whatever you want, whenever you want. Freedom is the ability to do what must be done even when you don't feel like it. It's when the alarm rings at dawn and you leave your warm bed. When your mind wants to delay, but you act anyway. When emotions are chaotic, but you still choose reason. Those who live without restraint often mistake instinct for freedom. But those who live with discipline know. If you don't control yourself, everything else will control you. Discipline is not meaningless sacrifice. It's the deliberate choice to place yourself above temporary weakness. It's the quiet voice that reminds you, if you indulge today, you'll face a weaker version of yourself tomorrow. But if you stand up, do the right thing, and stay the course, those small steps will become an inner fortress no storm can shake. The Stoic doesn't practice discipline to be admired. He does it because he understands. A person who can't master small habits will not stand firm when great adversity strikes. And it's from those quiet, steady, unseen hours that true freedom begins to bloom. Not the freedom to live by instinct, but the freedom to resist being pulled away from what's right. Each time you choose discipline, you prove you are no longer a victim of emotion, you are the master of your life. 12. Be the person you wish you could meet. And when you've learned to live with discipline, not to control the world, but to control yourself, a deeper layer begins to reveal itself. Because discipline, no matter how powerful, is only the frame of a person. The more important question is, who are you building within that frame? Every repeated action, every morning choice is quietly shaping a character. So ask yourself, if you met yourself today, would you want to be friends with that person? We often blame the world for lacking sincerity, kindness, courage. But rarely do we stop and look directly at ourselves and ask, am I living like the kind of person I wish to meet? Am I acting with integrity, even when no one's watching? Am I giving what I always hope to receive? The world doesn't reflect your expectations, it reflects who you are. A man who wants to live strong and trustworthy doesn't need someone to guide him. He only needs to step out and live as if kindness was never extinct. He doesn't flaunt his compassion, doesn't show off his patience, but in the way he stands quietly, chooses his words, keeps his promises, others look at him and see. Here is someone who doesn't play the blame game. The Stoic doesn't preach morality. He lives it whether anyone is watching or not. Because for him, kindness isn't a public virtue, it's the essence of a soul that has fought many battles and no longer wishes to win by hurting others. He becomes the person he once longed to meet, not for admiration, but to protect his heart from rotting in a world that easily corrupts. And one day you'll realize, the world doesn't need you to change it. It only needs you to live rightly. Right in your words, right in your actions, right even in the moments no one sees. Then you won't just be the person you wish to meet, you'll be the person others need. Not because you're perfect, but because you're real and unwavering. I used to start my mornings with a cluttered mind, rushing through emails, reacting to messages, and forcing myself into a day full of pressure without a single moment of grounding. I thought discipline was something you build when life is calmer, when there's more free time to reflect. But then came days where I felt like a rudderless boat, quick to anger, quick to hurt, quick to lose control. Not because the world treated me unfairly, but because I didn't prepare myself. One day, I tried to change, not my entire life, just a single morning. I turned off my phone for 30 minutes, wrote down the thoughts that felt suffocating, breathed deeply instead of checking social media, and sat in silence before stepping outside. That's all, but that day, I wasn't swept away. I responded more slowly, more calmly, and strangely enough, I felt stronger. Not because I accomplished anything grand, but because I stopped letting the world take control of my mind. If this video helped you see more clearly the quiet strength within yourself, like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you won't miss future content. This isn't a place to feel hyped. It's a place to return to whenever you feel yourself losing direction. Begin each morning as if you are sharpening your mind, because no one is coming to save you. But if you are disciplined enough, honest enough, and still enough, you won't need anyone to save you. You'll have become your own guide. See you in the next video.